Let's start with this other piece that you had. And I remember this in particular because I looked this vow up. Donald Trump made what ostensibly was, 4 weeks ago, considered like the almost like the cornerstone of what he was going to do, draining the swamp. And he had really one major, I guess, day one agenda for draining the swamp, which was
it's on tape. He made a video that said, "This is what I'm going to do on day one," and he referenced a number of things, some of which he has done. But the main thing around draining swamp was imposing a 5-year ban on any members of his executive branch from becoming lobbyists after they leave government, and a total ban on lobbying for a foreign government from any executive branch nominee. Now, he said it was one of the first statements that he made after the election. It was released 2 weeks after the election. It's on tape, and it's practically the only thing from that tape that he hasn't done.
And how many times would you say in the news media, or include in this direct interviews with him, has this been brought up since day one?
I would say 0.0 by the media in terms of since day one. It just has not been a story. Now, even Chuck Schumer mentioned this on the Senate floor on, I believe, Tuesday or Wednesday of this week, saying that this was your promise, this was your day one promise, and you haven't fulfilled it. But yeah, the media has been kind of slow on the uptake on this, and it just seems tailor-made. Like, here, you said this, why haven't you done it? Is about as easy as it gets for the media.
Let me do something that I think people will find uncharacteristic and surprising and say, I understand why the media has not brought this up, because Trump is completely insane. And I think that they are just sort of, it's really hard to ignore that massive elephant. I don't even know if it's an elephant. I mean, it's like it's the room. It's the room in the room.
The room in the room.
But, interesting fun fact about that lobbyist ban. There was a president that announced the exact same ban in our modern history. No, it was not Barack Obama, although he had something similar. But
Barack Obama had a similar ban, like a 2-year ban, only on whatever lobbying the former agency that you left. That was Obama's ban, which apparently is not being enforced anymore by the Trump administration. That was something that came out today from David Sirota, that federal forms no longer have that language that they can't lobby for 2 years on the form.
So not only did Trump not institute his own proposal, he actually is not upholding Obama's proposal because they're that desperate, I guess, for lobbyists. I mean, because presumably those are the ones that are sort of like more democratically aligned. Well, the guy who who last instituted this exact, I believe, policy was Bill Clinton. And oddly enough, it lasted almost 8 years. They stopped it when he left. It was like literally one of the last things that he reversed before he left. So the ban was, internal, I guess, which I guess you could understand on some level, right? I mean, the idea was that the ban was just for, at least they couldn't come back and lobby the Clinton administration or something. But they didn't want to stop thinking about tomorrow, I guess, was the...
And of course, we've seen this repeatedly through the transition. There was this alleged purge of lobbyists in the Trump transition. But then it came out that as long as a lobbyist deregistered, they could be in the transition. And there was an alleged ban on meetings with lobbyists at the transition headquarters, but they would go across the street. Or they would submit comments in writing. They still had a major impact on hiring and recommendations and things like that. So it's not surprising in any way that he would not uphold this promise, and really it's more along the lines of that lobbyists are running and writing the administration's priorities rather than being set apart from them.
I got to think that in between the asking him, why he can't handle the fact that he didn't win the popular vote and why he's, wearing his underwear on the outside of his pants, those type of questions that they could just bring up, like you said, day one, and it's now day 6. What's going on with that? I mean, I guess he'll just say,
Right.
well, 2 weeks away or something like that. But,
day one lasts a long time.
Yeah, right.
It's,
I mean, an important thing to...
It's biblical in a sense, right? On day one, that's supposed to mean millions of years,
right?
If you believe in evolution, right?
Right. Hey, it's Sam Seder. Why don't you subscribe to this channel? You can do so right over here. Over. Subscribe.